In order for this to all work from the top, okay, you need to establish what this risk tolerance is. What is this line that you said above it, we don't tolerate, below it, we're okay with? Hey everybody, how you doing? Brian Hoagley here, SideChannel. Welcome back to Sizzle Life. This week, I think we want to talk again about third-party vendor management because it keeps coming up in conversations. It's a good conversation to have. I think it's something worth discussing again. The view I want to have, though, and the discussion point is more so around where do we start from a corporate environment. So you've got your corporate space, okay? You've got your corporate environment. You have your organization, your HQ. You've got your executive leadership teams, right? You've got your board sitting, however it is. This is what's falling right in line above maybe CIO, maybe it's directly a CISO, whatever your structure is. But there's the view that this person here, right, needs to, okay, these are both the same. This group here needs to own, understand, manage everything that is security for the org, right? And in order to do that, they really need to understand risk management. And the understanding of risk management isn't just, what are risks? I think the key area for this component, risk management for the CISO, is to marry risk management to the risk appetite or the risk tolerance for the corporation, for the company, for the enterprise. Now, when you come up with, and we've done this before, right? We've done this in other videos. You've got a tolerance, okay, where you have to establish what is it you're willing to accept as far as maybe a loss goes or something that's going to compromise confidentiality, integrity, or availability, okay? These are what your risks are against. In order for this to all work from the top, okay, you need to establish what this risk tolerance is. What is this line that you said above it, we don't tolerate, below it, we're okay with? This needs to be established. If the organization is looking at the CISO to come up with this, I think you're gonna be in a really bad spot. If you're looking at the CISO to help inform what this needs to be, you're on the right track. But what you really need is some type of enterprise, okay, risk management, okay, function happening, okay, that is being driven out of the corporate environment. This group represents the interests of the organization, but looking at it from a risk lens, of which cybersecurity, okay, is a operational risk that is within the enterprise risk management framework for an organization. Too often, the discussions that I have and that we see and hear about, and I think a lot of you have even been part of, is, hey, the CISO, are we willing to accept that risk? And I really find that that's an interesting question to get posed as a CISO when you don't have a risk tolerance established. And if you don't have a risk tolerance established, how can you realistically look at the CISO and say, oh, you can either accept that risk or not accept that risk? The CISO can't figure that out because it doesn't have any direction. Now, again, I'm not saying that they're in the dark, okay, but this needs to be established from a corporate stance. It needs to be understood, managed, expressed by the CEO, the CFO, the board of directors, the business leaders, whoever it is. Even maybe the CIO has a play here, okay, to come up with and establish it. But either way, however it's constructed and articulated by an enterprise leader for the organization, you need to have some type of function that sits within the corporation that views enterprise risk, of which cyber is only one of the operational risks that an enterprise has to look at. Okay, it needs to be addressed as such, and then this, okay, and this group is what drives the message into or establishes risk tolerance. Once you have risk tolerance figured out and identified, once you know what your threshold of pain is inside of an organization, it's a lot easier for your InfoSec teams, okay, to be able to come in and figure out, is that something that we're going to accept the risk on, or is that something that we're going to have to either mitigate, remediate, transfer, okay, because that's what's happening above your risk tolerance. So again, kind of a quick overview, but it seems like a really powerful idea that seems to kind of get lost in the sauce, as my friend Nick would say. Again, a corporation and its enterprise executive leadership needs to establish and acknowledge some type of enterprise risk group that makes a decision. Maybe it is this group, maybe it's a separate group, whatever it is, it needs to exist. It cannot solely be the CISO. This person, this group needs to work with enterprise risk, understand cyber as an operational component and operational risk to drive and understand and define what is the risk tolerance for the organization. And then from there, you can have decisions made about whether or not you're going to accept those risks that are presented or not. Just a thought. Thanks for hanging out. Follow us around social media land on Sizzle Life. And by God, please, everybody, enable MFA while you can. This is Brian Hoagley with SideChannel. Thanks for watching.